The general theme is how does it feel to be a hypocrite?
Right. Well, he sounds like a royal dirtbag.
I was wrong about something.
Magnificent! Magnificent! Magnificent!
If we can be with ourselves, if we can understand ourselves, we can love.
It's not my fault nobody can understand what you're saying.
Let's go while we're young.
3, 2, 1. Just introduce yourself and tell me what you ate for breakfast.
Hey, good morning. It is Matt. It's too early for breakfast. Monday morning, March the 3rd. Wow, March is here. Daylight savings is just days away. I think if I remember my dates correctly. I'm looking forward to that. Thanks for being here. Thanks for, honestly, I'm just, again, I got to just say thanks, and I'm so blessed. I'm just, people, you're responding, and I appreciate it. I'm going to talk about absolute thinking today very specifically because, let me preface it with this. Also, by the way, I'm going to try to the night before, so tonight for tomorrow's show, I'm going to try to put out what we're going to do for the next day and the hashtag in the comments. So, let's make sure that you get that hashtag Be Strong in the comments. And if you look on the screen right now, you'll see the tumbler that I'm going to give away today. So hashtag Be Strong there in the comments, and then so we'll get we'll get that going and stuff here in a little bit. So I want to preface it with this as I use my command center here, that I've had some conversations, a few phone conversations, and specifically about a half a dozen messages, direct messages, Facebook, and actually on Twitter, or X now or whatever. And so, and that is that there's people are afraid to do certain things. They're afraid to stand up and say that, hey, look, I don't agree with your stance on it, and they're afraid. Literally, I've had these comments saying that they're afraid to comment and be known publicly that they're commenting and they're watching my show, and because of the apparent controversial things that I talk about, which is interesting, but that's a whole different topic. And so this absolutist thinking is I've been thinking about this for a couple of weeks, and I wanted to dig into that a little bit. And one of the other things that people have said, they'd like me to tighten up the show a little bit, be a little bit under 10 minutes whenever possible. That this time in the morning, they say that allows them to have a little bit more, have the ability to watch more of the show. And so we're going to try to do that as well, be really pointed in what we're going to try to discuss. I am working very diligently on a lot of other things and a lot of other content and stuff too, to dig a little bit deeper and be more specific and show actually some of the places that we can get information and whatever. But at any rate, that's what we're trying to do here. And so let's get into absolutism, or let's get into absolutist thinking. And so it's been said that absolutism or absolutist thinking refers to the ideas, phrases, and words that denote totality, either in magnitude or probability. Absolutist thoughts are unqualified by nuance and overlook the complexity of a given subject. So that's sort of the scientific way, or psychology type way of looking at that, what that absolutist thinking is. And in other words, it's like what we choose to do with a situation is to view it our way and no other way, that there's There's no nuance. There's no idea that situations are complex, that there's just my way of thinking of it and no way other than that to think of it. And it seems on the surface that it's always easy to deal with complexities of life, right? If we think that way. So we tend to take that easy route, don't we? We tend to take that easy route that says, you know, well, it seems easy from moment to moment anyway, but really in the complexity of it is not. But that easy route is for us to think in those terms of it's this or that or black and white. And I'm definitely guilty of that many, many times. And instead of like, we could think of it in terms of money even. It's a very high cost. It's very expensive to think of ways of from another person's perspective, or think of things in a way that's different than this or that, that there's multiple ways to go after something and look at it a certain and specific way. And it's easy to do that, isn't it? To look at things a specific certain way through our own paradigm, through our own lens. And I say high cost because when we're forced to think of the nuance and complexity of something, and I'll get to some ideas on what that is. When we're forced to think of that, that means that we have to think of other people's needs and wants and not just our own. So if we think in absolute terms, this or that, we are only thinking of how we look at it. We're not thinking of it how we look at it in another person's terms, another person's experience. I remember there was a study of somewhere around 6,400 people, I believe. I wrote some notes about it and things, but the study, it studied word choices of these 6,400 plus people, anywhere from the categories of something as complex as parenting to the complexity of cancer and how to do and deal with our own cancer or cancer that somebody else may have had. And so in this study of these words and phrases, they found that those who most often used words or phrases that were in absolutist terms, they were found that 80% were more likely to have suicidal ideation and 50% more likely to have significant depression or anxiety issues over those who did not often use absolutist words or phrases. So one of the things that would be an absolutist thinking was, I don't know if you saw what I had posted or not, but I had posted last evening that one of the things that is the way to look at it in an absolute term is that my life is completely destroyed, right? Or it's just something that is a totality phrase, like it's over, it's destroyed. My life is destroyed because Trump was elected. My life is completely destroyed because Trump won't support Ukraine, or my life is completely destroyed because Joe Biden won the election, or my life is, and it gets very political most of the time in those types of terms. And I say and bring that up because right now is all this, I'm not, unfriend me if you voted for Trump, or there's unfriend me if you don't support Ukraine, and just weird things like that. Those issues are complex. There's a lot of nuance to those issues, and that's the point of it. So absolutist thinking, one, beware of others who are thinking that way and approaching you with this or that, black or white, when it's a nuanced situation. Some people, you're going to be surprised. Some people don't like pizza. I know, right? It's kind of weird. But some people don't like pizza. But if I insist that those people who don't like pizza, that I'm not going to have lunch with you if we don't have pizza, well, it's simple and it's weird, but it's still the same kind of concept and idea. So just beware of people who say those things, and beware of yourself saying those things. And one of the last things I'll say about this, and we'll do the drawing here, is really be careful when you get into it. One of the things that is involved in absolutist thinking, some of the words are me, myself, and I, is when we focus on the things that you say are me, that you say are myself, and you say that are I. And it's just something that is grouped into these words and phrases. So if you're on a team, if you're in a relationship, whatever else, if you're saying I did it, it was me, things like that, that's some of the simple terms that is really good to kind of stay away from in the fact of that. So we're going to do the drawing here. Let's see what we got, and we'll get the screen back up here and we'll go for it. Now I put mine on here again. I can't remove it, but we'll draw again real quick if I get on there. All right, we have a winner. So I'll reach out and we'll get that sent out to you. But I'm going to show you once again what today was. Let me switch screens here and we will get going. I thank everybody for participating today and on all the other days. And I greatly and deeply appreciate your messages. This is about us. I've said that a million times. This is about, that morning campfire, breakfast fire, whatever, where you're with a group of friends and we're just throwing ideas around and thoughts and things like that. And it's hard to have a two-way discussion if you don't send me messages. So I do appreciate them. I try really hard to get back to them as soon as possible, or at least eventually, and things like that. So I do greatly appreciate it. I hope that you have a fantastic Monday. Be strong, be shiny, and we'll see you tomorrow.
You know what I just saw?
Who is this guy?
I call myself Podcast because of my podcast.
I have exorcised the demons. This house is clear.
So it's done.
It's done.